Hey, it's FPL Plus and welcome to my weekly team watch list where I'll highlight the teams with the best fixtures or form and the best player picks from these teams. First up, it's Spurs, who have been nothing short of a roller coaster so far. They've won 2 of their 4 games, drawing 1 and losing the other. They've scored 12 goals so far, tied with Leicester and Everton for the highest in the league. They've also only conceded 5 goals, which seems like a lot, but it's only bettered by West Ham and Aston Villa. Which is why the first player pick is Eric Dyer. The cheapest nailed route into the Spurs defense with their upcoming run of fixtures doesn't seem to be such a bad idea, especially with a team with this kind of form and confidence. Obviously, players like Sergio Reguilon or Matt Doherty are preferred, but not only are they more expensive, there does seem to be some confusion as to how Mourinho intends to use his fullbacks, with Aurier filling in for Doherty last weekend. The next pick isn't exactly surprising. Heung-min Son is the joint top scorer in the league this season with 6 goals already. His finishing has been lethal as he's not missed any of his big chances this season and has scored 6 from just 10 shots. He's also taken 20 penalty box touches so far, and the trend of him latching onto Harry Kane's passes seems to be a theme that will lead Spurs to a comfortable top 4 finish this season. Son is a streaky player, so while he's in form, it's a no-brainer getting him in. The last pick is of course Harry Kane. At this point, he is the more complete version of Heung-min Son, having scored 3 himself and leading the league with 6 assists. He's also taken the most shots of any player in the league so far with 19, tied with Mo Salah. He has missed 2 big chances though, indicating his finishing isn't as great just yet. Regardless, he's a fantastic option as he's always at the heart of anything Spurs do going forward. He also takes penalties, which is an added bonus. Moving on to Crystal Palace. Roy Hodgson's men were humbled at Stamford Bridge, conceding 4 goals and looking lackluster in all departments. However, in the 3 games prior, they've looked fantastic. Relying on Kouyaté and McArthur to boss the midfield, Palace tend to sit back and counter with the pace of their speedy forwards and wingers. Their defense too hasn't been too shabby, prior to the Chelsea game of course. A 4-0 loss really skews the stats for an otherwise promising Palace side. My first pick is the returning Patrick Van Aanholt. He's resumed training and should return by this game week or the next. He's got a few goals in him, scoring 3 last season and the season before. With the great fixtures coming up, this is likely the only time this season that you could punt on him. With Kouyaté creating more space down the wings, Van Aanholt might have a little more fun than usual. Next, of course, it's Wilfried Zaha. For most, he is the only player worth considering from Palace, and for good reason. He's already scored 3 times this season and has looked very confident going forward. Needless to say, he's great at winning penalties too. He's easily leading the shot taken stats for Palace with 9 already, 5 more than second placed Jordan Ayew and Townsend with 4. Zaha's creating chances too, with 5 created to date. With easier fixtures to come, big returns are expected, and with Milivojevic no longer a regular starter, Zaha's taking their penalties as well. Finally, Andros Townsend. Van Aanholt might be nothing but a punt, but Townsend could be a viable differential. He's looked good already, setting up 2 goals and scoring 1 himself. Townsend has created 3 big chances and made 7 key passes so far. This should only improve with Brighton and the struggling Fulham up next. At 3.6% ownership at the time of this video, Townsend is a pick for those stuck way below your rivals and are looking for a trump card to catch up. Finally, it's Everton. They've started this season with 4 wins and currently sit at the top of the Premier League. Some fantastic signings like Alan and James Rodriguez have made them look like a proper top 4 contender this year. Fixtures could be slightly better with the Merseyside derby approaching in Gameweek 5. However, after that, it's trips to Southampton, Newcastle, and then they host the struggling Man United at home. In this form, you'd expect them to win all those games and they'll probably even be confident enough to try to beat Liverpool this week. Luka Dean's main attraction is his set-piece threat. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been particularly good in the air this season and it's obvious set pieces are going to be a huge element of Everton's goals. Digne takes most crossed free kicks and shares corners with James Rodriguez. Even without set pieces though, he's a threat, already having 8 penalty box touches. He can be counted on from the Merseyside derby too as he's up against the fragile Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's clear he's an essential part to Everton's success this season and shouldn't be overlooked. Speaking of essential, James Rodriguez can't possibly get more essential at this point. He's had an even better start to life in the Premier League than expected, already returning 35 points for his owners, becoming the 3rd highest scoring midfielder in the process, behind Son and Salah. He's considerably cheaper than both of them though, and his underlying stats back his returns. With an incredible 13 key passes and 4 big chances created already, he's looking like a machine. Taking left-sided corners is an added bonus. At just under 39% ownership, he's looking way too good to ignore, and if you don't have him already, then you should at least have Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The league's joint top goal scorer is in the form of his life. He scored in every game this season and kept up his form during the international break, scoring for England. It's no fluke either, as he's getting plenty of shots away with 15 already, only bettered by Mitrovic, Salah and Kane. He's also missed 2 big chances so far, indicating he could have scored even more. He's getting all the supply he needs, and in this form, with almost half of all fantasy Premier League managers owning him, he's impossible to ignore. That's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.